So, Ben, we know that the school is closed today, and we have learned that the suspect has been formally charged. So you got onto campus earlier this morning. This is supposed to be an exciting time for students. They're approaching finals, approaching graduation, but it's such a sad day right there.
That's right, Carolyn, and lots of updates from overnight. We want to let our viewers know, if they're just now joining us now at the 6 o'clock hour, we can tell you that the lockdown has been lifted here at the school. The school campus has been given the all clear. However, the Kennedy building, the site of this massacre, it's still closed and will remain closed. At the same time, just in the last hour or so, we're learning a lot new information about this suspect. He's now been formally booked, charged. We're also getting a sneak peek of his mugshot. We'll get to that in just a second. But this about 70-year history of this proud school here, April 30th, 2019, will probably go down as the worst. The university's darkest day unfolding before our eyes as a former UNC Charlotte history major opened fire inside a classroom, killing 2 people, injuring 4 others.
Everyone had their hands up. It was crazy. It's like something that you see in the films, and you never think that it's going to be as close to you as what it was. This morning, we're still waiting to confirm if those 2 killed were students. 3 of the 4 injured are in critical condition this morning. We've also just learned from UNC Charlotte's on-campus newspaper that one of those shot is sports writer Drew Pescaro. He's reportedly out of surgery and is in stable condition. Police tell us the gunman entered a classroom in the Kennedy building with a pistol, didn't say a word according to witnesses, and started shooting. Right now, police are searching for a motive.
We know that the coming days and weeks and months will be very difficult for students and families.
Here's a look at how all this unfolded. The first shots were fired around 5:50 p.m. At 6:47, medic first confirmed 2 victims were dead at the scene. A short time later, at 7:31, NBC Charlotte sources confirming the suspect's name, 22-year-old Tristan Terrell. Just minutes later, CMPD tweeted that the scene is secure and 1 person is in custody. Now, we do know, even though the school is closed today, counselors, support services will be here available to the 25,000 students who go here to UNC Charlotte. Again, as Carolyn mentioned, keep in mind, yesterday was supposed to be the last day of classes. Tomorrow is supposed to be the first day of exams. We do know at this point the school has pushed those exams back until at least Sunday at this point. All right, let's go ahead and turn it over to Rachel. And Rachel, I know you're tracking social media reaction, and really social media played a big role in how this whole thing unfolded. And we also know overnight, Charlotte Strong trending as well.
Yeah, Ben, when people watch this unfold on TV, when you guys at home are watching this unfold, you often turn to social media for more information. And school officials, CMPD, they know that. And they wanted to make sure everyone got some sense of clarity and some sense of peace through all this. But this initial tweet from the Niner alerts, so for students, for faculty, run, hide, fight, secure yourself immediately. If you're having a hard time connecting to another tragic situation, this tweet itself just sends something up your spine, imagining those students receiving that, not knowing what's next. Then CMPD actually tweeting out, trying to put a little bit of calmness in that chaos, telling students and families a direct address they can go to be reunited. That was something we saw interesting with this situation. And then tweeting out again that scene was secure. They were doing press conferences, they were doing news releases, but they wanted people to know what was going on. This, though, one of the most impactful, a student tweeting out what her professor did. He made a Google Docs instantly during all of that chaos, had the sense of mind to create this because he wanted his students to check in. He wanted his students to tell him that they were okay. This isn't even these students' parents, you guys. Just showing you the emotion that was around this community during all of this. They just had to click on that link. Incredible that that was even happening there. And then also students were told if they were on campus, they had to be prepared to identify themselves. This was while the scene was not secure at the time, a much different scene 12 hours ago from right now, when students didn't know, was there just one shooter? Was that person in custody? Now, something we do want to keep in mind, we're continuing to see these alerts come throughout the morning. Exams do remain canceled through Sunday. So the school really playing a big part in making sure that their students knew, you know what, we're on top of this. We're aware of what's going on. We want you to be safe. We want you to be informed. And CMPD doing that as well. They had a lot going on. I think one of the most impactful videos we saw was the students running out of campus, hands in the air, clearly terrified, but you saw our first responders, our local heroes running straight in. They weren't even flinching, Carolyn. If you really closely watch that video, they are so tunnel visioned on where they were going.
So focused, yeah. Rachel, thanks. Okay, let's get, right now you are looking, this is the mugshot of the accused, the newly released mugshot overnight. The shooting suspect, we know his name is Tristan Terrell. He is in police custody right now. He's facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of murder. Now, we know he's 22 years old, that he is a former UNC Charlotte student. He was a history major. Wake Up Charlotte's Richard Devane joining us live outside the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. So, Richard, when things like this happen, we try to find any sort of reason why. Why would someone do something so terrible? And oftentimes that answer never comes.
Absolutely correct, Carolyn. Good morning to you. Basically, right now, people are still trying to determine why someone would do this. You look for some sort of good news in all of this. The only good news we can bring you this morning is that the person that police say caused all of this tragedy and this pain is right now behind me in the Mecklenburg County Jail. This is Tristan Andrew Terrell heading into CMPD headquarters for questioning Tuesday evening. He turns his head and says, "I shot them." This morning, he's behind bars inside the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, facing a slew of charges, some of which include 2 counts of murder, 4 counts of attempted murder, 4 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. Terrell is a 22-year-old former UNC Charlotte history major. We've learned that he and his father moved to Charlotte from Dallas a few years ago after the death of his mother. According to students and police, he walked into a classroom and just started shooting. Campus police were able to capture him. He lives at the Norville Apartments in Noda, and neighbors and students describe him as a loner who rarely spoke.
And I've seen him walking around several times. I mean, he's just super quiet from what I've seen. I mean, very, I guess, introverted. I've spoken to him myself, and I mean, the most I've heard from him is hello, and that was it, you know.
Yeah, that's what a lot of students and his neighbors have said to us. We can say that he's being held without bond, which is a standard thing for a murder suspect. He will be in court tomorrow. We'll be there as well. We're in front of the Mecklenburg County Jail for Wake Up Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. Carolyn, we'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks so much. The university going into lockdown moments after police learned of the shooting. You just heard Rachel talk about how their response, just tunnel vision, trying to get to those victims. Campus police giving the all clear just moments ago. This is 12 hours now after that shooting happened. They went into great detail about their response time to that shooting during a news conference. Wake Up Charlotte's Ruby Durham joining us live now. So Ruby, that quick reaction, the quick reaction of police, you know, they train for this, and they're saying that that is what saved so many lives.
Carolyn, the UNC Charlotte's police chief says officers used immediate action, went room by room and swept every building on campus, then moved very quickly after the gunman opened fire. He said the officers was then able to engage the suspect and take him down. Officers were also able to locate people who had been shot and identify other students who were sheltering in place. A campus-wide alert went out telling all students and staff to run, hide, fight, secure yourself immediately. Here's how the chief describes the response.
Trained to go to the sound. So those officers were moving toward whatever they heard. I didn't talk to them, and I'm not saying they heard anything. I'm just saying they're trained to do that, and that's training that we engage in twice a year, and as you can see, it's important to do.
Officers are trained to handle this situation that can't happen on campus yesterday, but no one ever thought that they were going to have to be able to use it immediately. CMPD will be handling this investigation moving forward. I'm reporting live from UNC Charlotte's campus. Ruby Durham, back to you guys in the studio.
So true, Ruby. They train for it, never, ever, ever want to have to use it, but unfortunately yesterday they did have to use that training.